before he came to the city, most of you didn't know, Ron was on a path to another career. Ron actually left Trenton, where he grew up, and had been working as a baker making doggy biscuits to pay for Teachers College in Toronto. So he enrolled in Teachers College in September 1965, but it was short-lived, as when he realized he would have to teach 35 students, he just couldn't handle it. So he left Teachers College in 1966, in March. And that was probably when he began his next career, his drinking career.
At the city, Ron started as a mail clerk and what he called a runner. And then he's worked his way up to the senior appraiser negotiator. He's had some notable assignments that he keeps dear to his heart. He says he's appraised a scrapyard, an abattoir, a slaughterhouse, and of course the Hells Angels clubhouse. Like his father, who was a bean counter, Ron has a way with numbers, and he remembers all those downtown land sales. Many a time when I was in a crunch, I'd go to Ron for a fast ballpark guesstimate. He could turn them around in no time, and then he'd get it papered for Brian to approve. Jeff Sherchuck could perhaps embellish what numbers really mean to Ron.
Good evening. As we all know, Ron is an appraiser, and as an appraiser, he's a numbers guy. So I put something together, and here are the top 10 numbers associated with Ron. And so this is meant to be interactive, so if you think you know what the number is, you can shout it out, and they start off easy, okay? So the first one is the number 50. What would that be? Years of service, that's right. Ron's been with the city for 50 years. How about 0? We know that one as well, Lou already. Number of sick days. Does that include number of days you came in with a bottle for you? All right, how about 63? Not 1963, just 63. Any guesses what that would be? Number of Tim Horton cups in his office at any one time. I actually counted, and that's the real number. I took an average of mean, median, and mode over the last month in his office, so that is the actual number, 63. Okay, here's the next one. 16. 16. Ron, any idea? No? Number of mayors he's worked under. Ah, interesting. Which one did you like the most? Which mayor did you like? No. Tiny Perfect, Mr. Crombie. Yes, there he goes. Okay. 123. Any guesses? It's the number of lottery tickets in his office he's never checked. In fact, I was on the second floor today, and they were still stuck to what was left of the wall with a pin. It was over 1,000? Oh, I thought it was 123, but okay. I just took a shot at that one. Okay. 12. 12. That's a good number. 12 is the number of women vying for Ron's survivor benefits. Sorry. It's 11 women and 1 guy. We gotta be fair, okay? You've got some decisions to make this year coming up, I can imagine. Okay, 0. 0. 0 is the number of pairs of glasses Ron owns. And I asked Ron, I said, at your age, why is it you don't need glasses? And he says, it's because I prefer to drink straight from the bottle. That's true, that's what he said. Although I saw a picture of you wearing glasses over there on the thing. Okay, 3,500. I'm rounding on this one a little bit. It was, give or take, it was 3,500. Sylvia knows. It was the number of dollars in loose change he had kicking around in his office. It took 2 trips to take the dollar value, $3,500 in loose change in his office when we cleaned it out. Right. And Bruno can attest, he got the hernia taking it to the bank.
Not your bank account, you know? It's not 3,400.
Okay, 6. 6. Any guess on that one, Ron? No? It's the number of members of the Molson family he has personally put through college. And last but not least, 23,369. That's the current number of City of Toronto employees who know and love the guy we call Ron.
So although Ron's official job title was appraiser negotiator, he held many unofficial positions. He was our banker. If anybody needed change, just go to Ron, and he provides it. It doesn't matter how much or how little, he can always do a change. He's our resident librarian, the walking encyclopedia. If we needed to know anything about our past project or transaction, there was no need to go through those dusty files. Ron would be able to provide us with all that information, and sometimes too much information. We would joke that he could leave, but his brain had to remain.
But what made Ron come in day in and day out, every day, and I mean every day, are the people he worked with. But in particular, his culturally diverse ladies. Selena, watching from above, Pauline, Lila, Vicky, Luba, Sylvia, and of course me. I'm his favorite. His magnificent 7. We were his chauffeur because we refused to drive. We were his secretaries because we had to respond to his email because we refused to learn how to send emails. And we were his chaperone, which we didn't do a very good job because we tried not to get him to drink when he went out, but it never worked with him. So, and Ron promised us that we would be his bridesmaids. We even promised we'd diet and wear slinky dresses. But after watching us fail numerous diets, he never did get married. It was always Ron and his ladies. He was always included in all our events, our lunches, our dinners, and parties. And most of the times he was the only male present. I'm sure sometimes Ron must have thought, hey, I feel like a woman. Although when we did start talking about what he called female stuff, he would shake his head and quickly rush away. Now Ron has a yearly ladies' night where he takes us out for our collective birthdays to restaurants we would never be able to afford. And each year, we reciprocated for his birthday. Our fondest memory is of Opus, a restaurant located in Yorkville. That was our first mistake. We got to the restaurant and we wanted to impress Ron, so we decided we were going to order him a good bottle of wine. The wine list came. We looked at the wine list. It was 2, 3, and 4 figures for the wine list. Then we decided, you know what? We were going to get him ginger ale, and we would get bottled water, but that was almost the same price as the wine. Thank God Mr. Visa doesn't care when you pay. So we all shared that one bottle of wine for that whole night, and we kept saying, "You're worth it, Ron. You're worth it." So no matter how many stars Opus received, we're never going back there again.
Ron also hung out with the boys, and us girls never met those boys, as his life had to be compartmentalized. Annually, there would be a boys' weekend, going to Stewart's Shack, to Lake Tahoe, Philadelphia, Vegas, the Bahamas, Atlantic City, New Orleans, before and after Katrina. He would drag himself back from those trips and tell us we had a wild weekend. But we could never get anything out of him to tell us what happened. We would even try to get him drunk. And his response was always the same. It's kind of like that saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, His lips were always sealed, so the secrets never came out. He and his closest friend, Bill Ross, a former City of Toronto employer, are two old goats who are long lifetime friends. They are regulars at the Brass Tap on College Street, where you can find them spending many an evening keeping that establishment in business, drinking and betting on the NFL games. They've traveled together on the Canadian to Vancouver, had train trips to Quebec City, Halifax, Ottawa, and drove for 3 long days to Florida to see a Jays game. Their favorite vacationing spot is San Diego, where they saw their first live NFL game. Before leaving, they happened to source some tickets here in Toronto. They were at the 50-yard line, 7 rows up, and they were so excited. They were going to see San Diego Chargers play the Oakland Raiders. Well, according to Ron, Bill didn't really see much of that game. Everybody was standing, and he refused to stand. Everybody was 6 foot tall, and they saw nothing. They left before halftime. We're sure that now Ron is retired, there'll be many more adventures he'll have with Bill.
Ron can always find the perfect card or cartoon for any occasion. For example, just after amalgamation, I was having a difficult time at work, I can't remember why, and Ron found me the perfect card. The top, I'm okay, you're okay. He had to identify that the white dog was him and the black dog was me. And he says, beyond that, we're dealing with a bunch of lunatics. And on the other side, he says, when you want to feel like a success, surround yourself with losers. I've had that card, I think, for 15 years now. Another example was Lila's birthday, okay? Her birthday card, it shows a group of women ordering diet food, except for this one person saying, I'll have the big trucker special with extra fries and a banana split. Now, if you know Lila, then you know that card is perfect for her. We could always rely on Ron to clip out any articles or interesting notices or expropriate notices that related to our files. He would scour those newspapers, clip out expropriation or planning notices, pin them onto his board, and call us to let us know that the clippings were on the board. Now, Karina and I certainly hope that you continue to do that, because half the time we forgot we put those notices in until you called us.
Ron was usually the first person you see in the morning and the last face you see at night. He's been a great mentor to all of us, and we certainly will miss him if he actually leaves. We recently found out that Ron is an avid coin collector, right? These coins, right? The coins were kept in a safe place in his office, a little in every Tim Horton coffee cup. We had no idea that he was so proficient in collecting until we needed to purge out his office, and they took to the bank $3,200 in small coin. Now, as you all know, Ron is extremely generous. All the wait staff here at the various restaurants can attest. They all know Ron by name and have his favorite beverage waiting on the table before he even sits down.
Ron has spent 50 years with this city working extremely hard. However, he had a lot of fun after working hours with his co-workers. A few of the highlights we surely remember are the Christmas luncheons at the former Colony Inn we're in, where we would continue to party in the wee hours of the night, right? You remember that? In the complimentary room we always managed to secure.
And what about standing in line at 5:30 a.m. at the Sheridan, waiting for tickets for the CFRB Oldies dance, and then dancing the night away to those golden oldies?
The fall golf outings, the Hackers Invitational at Markham Greens, that was always set up by Doug Wong.
The spring parties, the baseball games, the bowling nights that we used to have with the old city.
The a rainy day in Niagara Falls when we almost got struck by lightning when a thunderstorm rolled in and we were playing next to the hydro tower. I gotta tell you guys that story, okay? I gotta tell you that story. We were in Niagara Falls playing. Remember this dug walk? It was a beautiful day, sun. In fact, we were at, what hole were we at? Can't remember what hole we were on. But we looked up and the sky was beautiful. I remember thinking, oh, what a beautiful sky. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, thunderstorm. It started pouring, lightning started pouring. We hit under a tree. What are you never supposed to do when there's lightning? Hide under. We were under the tree. The lightning struck the tree in front of us. We're like, Ron is in this cart. My uncle is flat on the floor because that's what you're supposed to do in a thunderstorm. Ron is in the cart going, oh. And I'm yelling, my hair, I just got it done.
His 65th birthday celebrations at the Brazilian restaurant, where he was fascinated by the ladies dancing with candles on top of their head. Now, if there were any lowlights to Ron's time at the city, we really couldn't think of any, but perhaps it was amalgamation. Yes, that event that took place 18 years ago, we're still talking about it, and it did have an impact on all of us. We asked around the office for what people will miss about not having Ron in the office. Brian, partner's manager, maybe would like to kick this off.
Good evening. Wow, 50 years, Mr. Banfield. So I'm a newcomer. I'm only 10 years at the city, so I came late to this very big party, right? So I first of all want to acknowledge Jeff for the great countdown of the numbers and the stories. That's awesome, and Aduba and Vanette. And there's so many stories that you guys have that I hope you'll share after I'm done and maybe Joe's done, because those are the funny stories. So what I want to say, Ron, is that in the 10 years that, oh, and I want to acknowledge your family as well for coming. This is really, really special. We really appreciate you being here. So in my 10 years with you, and I found it ironic when they, and I knew this about you, but I find it really ironic that they would talk about how when you were a young fellow, you decided you wanted to be a teacher. And after only a few months, you decided you didn't want to be a teacher. But yet, in the 10 years that I've been in policy and appraisal services, even though in my role, you have taught me so much in the 10 years from the day I've arrived. You have taught all the appraisers that work in this booth so much from the time they arrived. We call you the walking encyclopedia because that's what you are, the real estate encyclopedia. And you teach us every day. So I want, on behalf of all the policy and appraisal staff, I want to thank you for, on behalf of the city, thank you for all of your work with this group, all the knowledge you've imparted on us. It will go on for many, many years. And probably more importantly, you know, this group, many of us have gray hair. Not everybody, but a while ago we did a cake and wave back on May 3rd, which was Ron's actual 50th year. We did a cake and wave, and when we had the entire real estate staff there, we have quite a few young people. And I said at the time, this is a very special day, because to these young people in particular, you will never again experience someone like Ron, who has spent 50 years dedicated service to an organization, and of course with the unachievable by anybody else, never had a sick day. They will never see this again. So thank you, Ron. Happy retirement. We wish you all the best.
So from the others in real estate services, we got these responses. What they're going to miss about you, Ron, when you will no longer come into the office. Our friend Carmela says, for me, Ron was my go-to man. I'm going to miss going to him to get the information. I can always count on Ron to give me information to assist callers. I'm also going to miss scaring the living daylights out of him. I would walk into his office startling him as he tried dozing off, and him jumping out of his skin.
Ron, Stephanie will miss your direction on how to handle things and where to find information, and she'll miss you calling her a young lady. And Vicky says she was honored to be initiated by you to the exclusive coffee club when North York Real Estate moved to Toronto. You've been the nucleus of her coffee club, and she hopes you'll continue coming down because it won't be the same without you.
Lila says, although Ron is the first person to come in every day, he stays late, unless he has that date with Bill. For the past 5 years, Ron would remind me every day to go home because my day's work is done and because I'm the last remaining on the floor. Sometimes he would hang around and we'd talk about sports, like I know shit about sports. Sometimes his reminders work because I'd be thinking, shit, I have to go home and cook dinner. And then I'd be like, ah. But then I eventually get the message, get up and go. So my family thanks you, Ron, for getting me home to put dinner on the table for them.
Tim will miss keeping you company in the office on those Saturdays and Sundays when he comes into work, and of course, planning the Stanley Cup route for the Leafs. And Delia will just miss you in general. She'll just miss seeing you around, and she'll miss your sense of humor.
Now, Bruno will always remember coming in first thing in the morning and talking about the local sports team, the Leafs, the Jays, the Raptors, and how they did the previous evening. They have a love-hate relationship with those Leafs. They are diehard fans of the team, but all they've done lately was complain on how poorly they've been playing.
And Kathy will miss coming to work early, and you always being there to greet her and have her door open. And the first thing out of your mouth would be, is it time to go home yet? Ron, we will really miss you once you actually leave. And we wish you nothing but the best. And you can still join us for coffee and lunch, and you can still come and see us safely home on the subway.
Joe, we're calling upon you to say a few words.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for coming tonight to Ron. I just wanted to say, Ron, it struck me with all the stories that we've heard here, you're leaving a legacy that's unbelievable. 50 years of fun and learning and just good camaraderie. I aspire to that. Okay, so it's amazing. When the mayor's office heard that we had a staff member that had been at the city for 50 years and that Ron had never taken a sick day, the mayor said, I want him in my office. I want to see this guy. So it was my pleasure that day to join a number of people from your group to stand in the mayor's office with you and have the mayor tweet that he's standing by a gentleman that has been here for 50 years without a sick day. So that tweet's still up. I saw it the other day. And I just wanted to do the official thing here, Ron, where I get to read to you what the mayor has said in his correspondence to you. So it says, Mayor Tory and members of Toronto City Council extend warmest congratulations to Ron Banfield on your retirement. Ron, the success and quality of service provided to the residents of Toronto is without doubt due to the outstanding caliber of public servants like you. In your 50 years of dedicated service to the City of Toronto, you have played an instrumental role in ensuring the changing needs of our city are always met. Through your work, you have demonstrated the City of Toronto's core values of service, stewardship, and commitment. City staff appreciate your appraisal expertise, negotiation skills, and thorough knowledge of the city's real estate portfolio. This has earned you the fond title of a walking real estate encyclopedia. Even those words, yeah. By your call, memories and your ability to quote from memory many historical facts and the many landmark sites throughout the city of Toronto. You've earned the respect and admiration of your colleagues and friends of the city for not only getting the job done, but getting it done without taking a single sick day. Your friendliness, professionalism, and dedication to your work will be greatly missed by all those who have had the pleasure of working with you. We are delighted to join with staff, family, and friends in celebrating you and your contributions and accomplishments for the city. Best wishes for a healthy and enjoyable retirement. Signed, Mayor John Tory. Congratulations.
So just before we do our last presentation, I'd like to take this opportunity and to thank everybody who was involved in the retirement or organizing committee. Carmela, Sylvia, Vicky, Lila, and of course Vanette. So Ron, on behalf of everyone here, we'd like to present you with a gift. We hope that you will use it to keep in touch with us when you're not downtown.
Okay, Lila will help me set it up. I will find you the proper Wi-Fi connection. Yes, you can open it. This is so you don't bring plastic bag every time you come to meet us. Put your newspaper in the back in here and don't look like a bum on the So tomorrow you look like a bum. So tomorrow we want to see you with your stuff in there. Here.
You're permitted to rip it, Ron.
It's a tablet, so you can have your kid just set it up right here. So you can have your emails and stuff and we can So, Ron, now you get a chance to talk.
Hello. 50 years with the city of Toronto is phenomenal for me to be associated with such beautiful people.
Especially me.
Especially our real estate people, including and Luba and Pauline and Christine and Jeff and Victoria everybody, forget Sylvia cannot. The young lady over there, the really young lady, and the really old fart. Where's the old fart?
Old fart.
That's what I think you do.
All these people were major contributors to the way I am today. It allowed me to grow in my job and do the job I have to do. These people are phenomenal people who contribute day in, day out to the way people work in the office. And we were able to, as an office, do much more than we would when they were able to do as individuals. They were the primary reason I'm here today. Real estate is a very specialized field. Not everybody can do real estate. You have to be able to have you have to be able to say, I want to contribute to the real estate team. The team is the whole thing about being in real estate. One person cannot do it. The team can do it. They can be successful. When real estate people work together on a project, they were able to be successful. And day in, day out, the real estate team, under Joe and under Brian, and under the other managers, the current management and Tim, they're very successful at what they do. And because of this team approach, we are able to be very successful. And I hope this continues on after I'm gone. And everybody else can make a contribution to Joe and Tim and Brian. All those people are able to do that.
Speak up, old man.
Okay. For me, my success in real estate was based on the information that I was able to get from previous people. They contributed to me, and I was able to take that information and put into a form that was able to do the real estate transaction. The real estate people were my principal reasons for success in City of Toronto. And I wish to thank all those people here, and all those people who are not necessarily with the city, but were able to contribute to the way I was here. Doug, Oscargo, all those people were able to contribute to the way I was able to have success in real estate. And I want to thank them very much.
Now, is there anybody else who wants to say anything about Ron or tell a story? Don't feel pressured.
We want to see him dance.
That's coming up next. You want to talk? Nobody wants to say anything? Okay, well then.